What's poppin'? And Yanko, you already know who was doing the intro because I'm a high vibe and we about to get this high vibe party started, guys. I'm Kerri Lewis. You got Yanko over here, Yankov, and we are here with our show for no particular reason, in which we show up on Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central, and all the other jazz to hopefully inspire, ignite joy, and if nothing else, get you to laugh. So I'm super excited to be here. What up, Yanko?
I'm super excited to be here. I was kind of feeling
Bleh.
I
You were
don't know
feeling
what's the
bleh.
word for it.
That's a
Yeah,
word.
I'm kind of feeling like
Yeah.
but you always find a way to lift up the energy and do everything. So I'm feeling very excited
I
now. All
love it.
that like a little like a tune that we're playing before the show. That's great. So thank
I
you.
still fall on my face sometimes, and I won't color inside the lines because I'm perfectly carry, and I'm always working on my masterpiece. Shout out to Jessie J because that's her song, but like I made it my own because that's just how I roll. But
Of course.
I think this is a beautiful intro to today's topic because, interestingly enough, I had a client who was struggling this morning. And what it keeps coming up for me, guys, is we are so conditioned to lie to ourselves that we just buy our own bullshit. We convince ourselves that we have to stay stuck in an experience, in an energy, in a thought, in a belief, in a pattern of behavior, in a job, in a marriage, with a crappy, mean kid because of imprinted behaviors, patterns, and beliefs. But the reality is, it's in this moment, right? This is where the power of now exists, guys. In this moment, you have the power to shift out of any experience and make a different choice. And that is the power of our mind. And that's something that I've worked tremendously hard at doing for myself, and what I know Yanko and I both do to work with our clients. But even we in our humanness get caught in the BS, right? Our own BS stories. And we have friends like each other who are like, nah, I know you want to believe that, but you know that BS. What are your thoughts on that, Yanko?
Well, to me, this morning it was more of a comfortable place where I know I'm okay, and I had no stimul to change it. It was just like, nah, it's okay.
You know,
um,
I think, and that's interesting. Because I've been invited to do collabs with certain people, and I've been in spaces, and I guess the difference between you and I is I 100% unequivocally know that I'm safe, and yet why do I want to feel the ick? Like, who wants to be around that BS? Not me anyway. And besides, because I know we're magnets, if I'm sitting there saying, "Oh, let's just sit in the," I'm grouchy because my email wouldn't open and my boss yelled at me, then guess what? I am much more likely to have more experiences of, oh, yeah, reinforce the ick. But if I'm just like, okay, my email's being a pain, my boss is feeling some type of way, so I'm just gonna avoid that situation and choose to sit, enjoy, figure yourself. Listen, that's me all day long. But I do want to preface, guys, it's not that I don't learn, right? I'm constantly examining my internal narrative, how I respond when engaging with people, what stories are coming up for me. So it's not that I'm not like taking stock of what I need to heal from or release, but that doesn't mean I have to feel like poopy doopy while doing it. I don't want to do that.
yeah, I understand. It's a different mindset to me.
Yeah.
Um, No, sometimes I have to explore everything to realize, like, oh, and have like the aha moment. So until I have the aha moment, I am just like observing, seeing where things are going.
Yeah.
And we want to acknowledge Gail for showing up, having troubles with the broadcast. I don't know, maybe.
Are we? Maybe. It possible.
Everything is possible. But hi,
Yeah.
Gail. Thanks for watching us.
Hi,
We'd love
Gail.
to hear from you. Yeah,
Lots
but
of love.
yeah, that's the main thing with me. It's usually like I just I gotta see where this goes.
Yeah. And that's a gift that we give ourselves in our own human experience, right? Is that we all have the opportunity to decide what feels right for us. And listen, I'm all about empowering people to do what feels right for themselves as long as they recognize that doesn't have to be the way that they're experiencing it. It doesn't. If it's a
Right.
conscious choice, like if you're telling me, "Oh, I just want to experience feeling icky," because full transparency, because I keep it real. Yanko was like, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna be in this low state while we're on the show." I'm like, "Well, if you decide to, you get to. Like, you get to keep your candy," as Miss Gail Craft would say. Um, but you don't have to. And I think you operate from a place of awareness, whereas a lot of people I work with, they don't recognize just how powerful we are. And guys, we are flipping powerful. Like I can't, and again, like it's a knowing that I can't actually put into words, but we're co-creating experience all the time. And so if you find yourself telling yourself something that limits you, right, or prevents you from experiencing, I don't know, more optimism, more hope, more like curiosity, then just ask yourself, can I give myself permission to have a different experience? And the reality is you certainly can.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this is why I decided to go with the flow and do a little jazz. uh, yeah, it's different. Sometimes I gotta go to, I don't know. It's my curiosity, I guess, because like I want to see where things go. Like I'm curious to see, like, okay, is this gonna go this way, or is it gonna go this way, or like, where am I even going with this? Like, am I gonna surprise myself? Like, what's up with that? You know what I mean? And sometimes I'm like, that was kind of a weird way to choose that, like, or create it in my experience. Why did I want to do that in the first place? You know what I mean? So there's different stages. So things that are happening.
Yeah. Hey, again, I always tell my 2 children, "Do you, boo." You know what I mean? You just that's all you all day long, baby.
Yep, yep, yep.
So what's coming up for you? I kinda spoke my piece.
I don't know. I just kind of go with whatever life brings me, and enjoy it in the moment. So whatever happens, like last week, I talked to you, and I was planning on going in this Mind Body Expo that was happening here in the Chicagoland area. It was going to be in Schaumburg, and I constantly like see invites, and I was going to go for the talks and vibe with like-minded people and explore different modalities. And I'm always getting excited when I go to like that kind of expos or fairs, and you meet different people, and it's exciting, kind of like going to Comic-Con. Maybe, like, I don't know. I know you don't you
It's
don't
a
like really get
vibe.
excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, but it turned out that I got the dates wrong. So it's this weekend, not the previous weekend. So I was like, what was I thinking? Because like I'm just going with like a last minute thing, whatever comes up. Like I just go with the flow. So I think I'm gonna go this weekend unless something changes. Again, going with the flow, and I'm looking forward to it. It's very exciting because like I know I'm gonna meet wonderful people, and it's just gonna be all around super exciting place to be.
Mm. It's interesting
Yeah.
because I was invited by somebody to go to a similar expo that's being held in Massachusetts this weekend, but I am opting not to because the last time I went, well, it was great. I was more interested in hanging out with Nana, so we had more fun in the hotel room than I did at the expo. So I'm like, nah, I probably won't, but who knows? To your point, I never know how my weekend's going to unfold. In fact, I have a family photo shoot this Sunday, which I'm super excited about because, as anybody who knows me at all, I can assure you it will not be the traditional photo shoot.
Ooh. Okay. Sounds exciting. I can't
It
wait to
really
see the
is.
photos.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the photos either. I can't wait to have the experience to see what comes from it. But like you, I go with the flow, but I go with the flow and it just brings me so much joy. I just it just yeah, I just have a really good time. Just not
Well,
taking myself
I
seriously.
do whatever brings me joy the most in the very moment, and that's what I go with. Like if something stop being joy, then I move into the next thing. So like I might even have things to do or whatever,
So
but
can
if they
we
don't
let's
feel like,
dig in because I'm gonna pick on you a little bit because we're
yeah, go
in a
ahead.
space of
Like
service. So
right,
um so you say that you go with the flow, and if it doesn't bring you joy, you kind of leave it to do other things. But then you say sometimes you like to examine the dark and your whatever's coming up. So can you explain that for our listening audience who might feel like that's a contradiction?
sure. So when I want to examine the dark, it's just in a moment. So if I feel like I feel, and it's an inner feeling, like I can't really explain it. Sometimes that might be more exciting than the other. And so if I feel like more excited to go down the rabbit hole, that's what I'll do because it'll pick up my curiosity. So it might not be a good as a feeling, but I might just want to like prove to myself like something, or to prove a point to myself and say like, okay, I kind of know where this is gone, but let's see. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but then, my question to you would be that whole experience is ego based, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's
Which,
not. It's
look,
not.
we both live in ego. I'm not here
Right.
to, whenever everybody's like, oh, listen, you need ego to take action. I have come to fully love the whole of myself, which is my ego and then my spirit. But I just want to clarify because I think it's important for the people who are trying to grasp this that, a lot of times you talk about, you know, who's asking, right? And then you
Right.
want to give the answer. It's you asking, like it's your ego.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, if I'm having, a lot of the times I catch the ego and like a play, and like you said, I'll be like, who wants to know, or like what's going on. um but it's, I don't know, it's weird. It's a feeling kind of thing. Like if I go with the feeling, like, and I feel like, even with the feeling, sometimes I disconnect from feeling. Like sometimes I'll be like, okay, there is a feeling and it comes and goes, like just like thoughts. And I can't really say why that is. I just trusted that it's gonna get me to the place I gotta be, or it's gonna show me something that I need to learn or understand. and and sometimes it does that, like I was talking earlier. Like sometimes I'll be like, why am I even exploring that? Like, what's this about? Like, how did I not see it, like say 2 months ago? Maybe I wasn't like looking for it, or I wasn't like ready to see it. I don't know. But it's an interesting experience like anything else.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know what to say to that. You have me speechless, Yanko, and I'm never speechless.
Oh, well, it, it it's like it's a way of being. Sometimes words can describe something, because even with words, if I'm trying to describe something, a lot of the times I can um, transfer the idea that I'm trying to express, or a feeling. um, but that's understandable, because we're only using, I don't know if I even say 20% to use like language and sound to
Yeah.
transfer an idea. A lot of the stuff just happens telepathically or through body language or other things like
You're
that.
so spot on. Which is why I interested I love that you said that because I think it kind of speaks to a point, you know, a lot of the people I work with, their biggest issue is analysis paralysis. Right? They get stuck in heavy energy because they're just going down the rabbit hole and just cycling around. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that that's what you're doing because you have this awareness of curiosity and a fundamental understanding that you're safe, which I think most of the universe, well, the world, humanity does not fundamentally know, right? Like it's it's not of they don't no, I mean, you and me can cease to exist in our body right now, and we're still safe. We understand that because of that knowing. It's a knowing. Um, but everybody has that ability to connect without language, without words at all, right? It's I would venture to say, yeah, I guess it's body language, but it's just the energetic expression of yourself as yourself in any given moment, right? Like as soon as we jumped on, you really didn't have to say anything. You're dense, you're heavy. Like it's the energy, it's meh. And I feel it because I've learned to trust whatever my energy is. I don't want to say intuition, like whatever comes up for me versus my thinking mind. So you could be like, hey, Kerri, how are you? I'm like, oh, yep, right. And I lean into it all the time. In fact, yesterday I was at Nana's job and a coworker has walked by me. I didn't say one word to this coworker, but Nana and I know this individual and I adore them. So I went up to Nana. I'm like, hey, do me a favor, go check on this person. They're not doing well, right? And it just comes from me tapping into. And that I learned how to do, and I can't speak for anybody else, but when I stopped trying to go down the rabbit hole of understanding and just fundamentally allowed myself to just know. And to your point, it's very hard to translate into words because it's just as it's a understand it's just a knowing. But it also comes with immense self-trust.
Well, it could be also a um, I won't say, it could be something that, if you involve mind too, also could get in the way. Like you feel like you need to do something and you do it, but then you don't go and say, well, maybe I could have done more, or maybe I didn't do enough, or maybe I didn't trust my feeling, or like you can have like doubts about it, because you get your feeling. And I'll give you an example. Like, I felt that somebody that I was around wasn't feeling okay. And I knew I wasn't feeling okay. And I'm talking to this person, like, yeah, I'm okay, this and that. And I'm like, okay. So I'm taking whatever it is. And that person gets in a car and he has like a stroke or something and hits a house, almost killed themselves and kills the other people and all this other thing. And then I go and start to analyze with the thinking mind and thinking, well, I had the feeling I could have done something, but like I was just going with the flow, and I couldn't didn't do anything. I could have done something because I felt this person. um and and that could be also as something that'll like get you in that like thinking analyzing paralysis, like you know what I mean, what could have done wrong, or I didn't do wrong, or maybe I noticed there was something wrong. Maybe I could have stayed with this person for a little longer, and if it happened in the front of me, then I could have called an ambulance or something else. You know what I mean? All those like if, whoa, whatever. So now it's more of like I know I'm in the right place. Whatever I do, I can't do it wrong. I'm there to do something, and if I do it, it is what it is. So I've done what I needed to do, and sometimes I'm just like, you know, why am I here? Like I'll just like ask directly, like I know I have to be here, but why am I here? Like, what can I help you with? Like, what's going on, or whatever. So does that make sense?
Well, so it's so funny. So one of my favorite texts to lean into, um, to ground me is A Course in Miracles. And there is a quote, and I'm not going to be able to say it verbatim. In fact, I have it written somewhere, but I don't lean into those cards as much as I once did. But it basically says, you are where you're meant to be, and you don't have to worry about what to do, what to say, or what the reaction is, because who put you in that time space reality will guide you. And as you speak, whatever comes up, or
Well, I don't know if it's in your end or on my end, but we lost connection. So here you are coming back. Let me bring you back in.
I,
You're pixelated.
the universe said, no, 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 not to.
Don't bring this topic today.
No, but seriously. So what I fundamentally, well, also I feel like the full moon is coming. It's a full moon rising. That's not the real words, but
One thing I'll say before you go on, I want to say that the weird it's going to be our new normal life. So anything that happens, like either internet outages or power
can you
outages or other freaking things, you got to get used to being uncomfortable with things like that.
I love that. And so a lot of my clients, when they're in transition and doing something new, they call it weird, or they label a judgment to it. And I'm like, what if it's just new? And what if in that newness is a beautiful experience? And it kind of goes back to what I was saying around working with clients. I fundamentally have a framework, right? I know the things that I permission to what I create an expectation of an out, because then I'm creating on what my clients need to experience, what their healing journey needs to look like, and all that. And I don't know. I don't know. I truly believe that the only expectation I have of myself is, am I showing up in love? Unconditional love. And if I cannot do that, I'll cancel my call, because that to me is a fundamental, that is my core value, that is what I do. And there are times when I struggle, like you, in ego, where I get caught up in that rat trap of narrative, of expectation. But when I'm there, I like you, I step back and I go, I'm not going to project that into anybody else's experience.
And that's kind of like the idea behind, I think, with the reality now, that more people are given chances to um, reflect on what they see outside internally, not like jumping in and, oh, you said this, or you offending me, are you like, well, what are you trying to do, or this and that, and instead more like going in and seeing how everything unfolds and
Yeah.
being able to stay. But this will be the new thing, so I'm just starting to see it more and more, and that's what I'm saying, like, get used to like having internet outages, or other things going on, and it is what it is.
Which goes back to the beginning of the day together. My beautiful friend. Your frustration was based on that. And but that's the thing is, for me, and you again, you like being curious and being in that ick stage, cool. For me, I'm the type of person, if it ain't working, I'm walking away and doing something else. I'm just like, why force it? Like, why try to? If this cut off right now, I would know that our show unfolded in perfect perfection. And so I really work to just witness, recognize, and then release. So again, a really good, I'll use my daughter's experience again, because I think it's so poignant and it proves the point, right? I'm texting my daughter, she tells me she's in an active school lockdown, a shooter lockdown, right? Immediately I'm aware that I'm triggered, right? I have a response from conditioning. I then kick into what do I need to do internally, which immediately, breath work, immediately calm my nervous system down, is able to bear witness to that. And then because of that, I was able to respond to her in a way that was calm and allowed her to calm herself down and have the experience without being so charged by it, right? And I'm not saying good, bad, right, wrong, but so that it's not causing this real tension within her, because we cannot control what we cannot control, right? And so, another good example, I have to pick my brother in law up at 3 today. I have a standing appointment with a client at 3. The past 3 weeks, something has to from with my boss. Just let her know, listen, this is what came up, and trust that whatever happens, happens. And I can't be responsible for her reaction. I have to trust that it's in the highest good of everything. And that keeps me, again, this is my experience. I'm not trying to tell anybody else what they need to do. Peaceful. It keeps me in joy. Because otherwise, I'm going to be like wondering, to Yanko's point, oh, what if I'm letting this client down? I'm not, or
Yeah. And so I think I'm gonna fill the blanks here if I'm going on, because I'm not sure if the internet issue we're experiencing it's on my end or on your end. But exactly to your point, like, if you're stuck in, like you said, analysis paralysis, you're kind of paralyzed. You're not going anywhere. Um, so it just more trusting. It's I think the way to go. Like, trust that everything will unfold the way it's supposed to unfold, perfectly the way it's supposed to unfold. So here you are.
it really does.
Yeah. Because like I was saying, I wasn't sure if it's the issue on my end or in your end, because of like how the internet unfolds, and not only today, but like for the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been having problems in with the internet here, and also I have problems with the internet in the office, with the stream, getting all chappy and going on and off. But it is what it is, and we wrapped it up just beautifully.
I love my life. It just, the very person I is speaking of texted me right now and sent me a picture of their doggy that made me super happy. So yes, it's unfolding perfectly. And yeah, I mean, that's why, like, I'm like, how can you not sit in joy? Like, I don't know. It's just, hey, like, you know what? I have to appreciate,
Thanks, Gail.
I have to appreciate everybody's experience and just know that,
That's
like, I
yeah,
get
and,
to
and
bear
and you're right,
witness
and you're
through
right about that. Yeah.
and, but not try to understand it. Like, just not try to understand it. Unless, for anybody out there listening, if you hire me, I'm coming. I'm gonna gut you like a fish. I'm gonna keep that one real. I got three more people this week who were like, "You like really keep it 100 and like dig in." I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I really do because I've been through the suffering, man, guys. I've been through the wars, like." Physically beaten down, emotionally beaten down, like spiritually, I didn't even believe in like something greater than me for much of my life. And I just know that digging in and doing the work, worth it, like in ways I just will never be able to put in quantifiable words. Other
But
than,
that's the whole point.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing is, somebody asked me like the other day, how do you so it's funny. I was talking to somebody, he's like, you should collaborate with other people because who you work with needs energy clearing and stuff too, and you don't do that. And I was like, I might. I mean, I certainly collaborate with the Gail Crafts of the world, the Yankos of the world, Drews and Nandars and Ingas, and I have zero issue, you know, sending people to different places. I think the way I shift people's energy is because I shifted my own and I'm joy and people just want to be around joy. And I can fundamentally say I believe that because Nana, my boyfriend, um oh my god, he attracts people all the time and it's just because he's just constantly in a state of bliss. He's just chilling, living his best life, and people love that. And that gives them permission to start to be curious and be more playful. I was talking to somebody in the Middle East the other day, and they said to me, Nana and you bring out my childlike wonder. And I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. That makes me happy.
Of course, because like you have to be in that childlike state to enjoy the moment, to enjoy the present, not to like, oh, like paralyzed, like, oh, if I do this, like somebody will come and smack me in the back, or somebody's gonna give me the look and be like, oh, what's going on here,
Well,
So,
here's the thing though. I think that fundamentally ties into the work that we do with people though, because if you behave in a childlike state, but believe subconsciously that that's not correct or like people are going to judge you, well, then you're going to experience people judging you because like there's this pattern that is going to come up in manifestation that shows you that that behavior is inappropriate. But if you work on the belief that fundamentally says you and I get to be in flow, I can make a totally wild, outrageous video with Nana about sex. And in the next moment, be hanging out with my client talking about some type of work she's doing. And in the next moment, playing in the dirt. Like, but you don't get to that flow until you give yourself permission. And I think
Yeah, I think the
believe that your ability. What's that?
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say you break up there for a second. But I know what you're saying with the belief system and everything. When I recognize that I don't have a belief and I'm doing something in the moment, and somebody approaches me and shoots me and says, "What do you think you're doing? Like, what's going on here?" And I kind of just laugh and I'm having fun or whatever, and they say, "Well, you can't be having fun. You're an adult. Like, you should be acting like one." And then I'll say, "Well, that's your perception, so you're entitled to your opinion. Thank you for bringing it up." you know um, that's pretty much it. Like, I can't say much more than that. But
Yeah.
usually that happens,
But it
and I
doesn't
want
prevent you from showing up the way that feels good for you, though. And I think that's fundamentally what I really try to encourage people to do is show up in a way that feels so good for you.
right. And I want to bring out the comment that Gail made after coming out of the fire. The BS seems like a waste of time. Yeah, pretty much.
I just want so yes. And here's the thing, guys. If gutting like a fish isn't, you know, right for you, I have two people, Yanko and Gail, who work and fundamentally have a complete knowing similar to mine. We're different, but at the core, that can help you who will gut you like a fish in a different way. So you're not like, oh my God. Cause I mean, I'm intense. I'm I just I remember feeling like there was something wrong with me. My mother would tell people, oh, she's just intense. And I'm like, it's just who I am. I'm intense and that's what it is. And the people who are meant to work with me will come find me, and the people who aren't, I have a show called What's Your Story that highlights healers. I've highlighted Yanko and Gail, and you've learned their personal journey to their conscious rising. And hopefully you can relate.
And many more. I
Yeah,
would say, like, so many people.
yeah,
You're
many. And
like
that's the
a
thing is I like
connecting hub.
we don't have one thing I say, all three of us, the gift we give each other in the world is we don't have an ego, meaning you have to work with me. Now, I don't care who you work with. Um, yeah,
This is
but
how Gail operates.
I will say that I think I'm very passionate about really empowering, encouraging people to do the work, whoever you do it with, because you're worthy of it. You're love. Like you are perfection in this time and space forever in this continuum. And I just my love for you makes it so that I show up and encourage you to hopefully fundamentally understand the love that I have for you within yourself.
That's right. Unveiling the layers of illusion and how things work.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I did a speaking engagement this week at the school, and I almost caught myself, Yanko. So I went for an interview to be on a board of directors last year for a nonprofit. I'm going to tell you right now, I have the skill set to be able to offer something. Whatever that is, I don't know. But I showed up as my unapologetic self. I don't wear bras. I will forever have some type of skull on myself. I'm covered in tattoos. I wear leather. I got my big hoops. Anyway, after answering all these beautiful questions, they clearly turned me down, which was beautiful. And I wrote to them, thank God you did. I wouldn't have taken it anyway because vehemently we were just too disjointed. But I had a speaking engagement and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I should wear my leather jacket, put on a bra, put on makeup. And then I'm like, no, I don't. They're going to receive me or they won't. I know what it is I have to offer. I know that I'm showing up as love. I know that the lens in which I um, will hold space for these people, the energy that I will share will make an imprint, and how they perceive me isn't for me to worry about. And I did. And at the end, I was like, yep, that's just what I have to keep doing. And I think that that's so important, guys, is just feeling okay to do what feels really, really good for you. Because when you love yourself, you're never going to harm anybody. You can't. Like, if you're coming from love, how are you going to hurt somebody? Somebody may perceive that as offensive, right? Me talking about having sex with Nana certainly offends the sensibility of certain people. But he and I are loved. So we're not showing up and hurting anybody. We're showing up in play and fun. And that's that, I believe spontaneity and individuality is the truest expression of source energy, because we're one, but we're uniquely individual within the collective of one.
That's right. So usually, like the love people have idea of, there is some kind of version of love, and it's not like really the love people think they know what it is or whatever. And that's why a lot of people keep searching outside for something to fulfill them, and that almost never happens because it's like running from themselves. Like they're looking for distraction to distract them of like what's going on inside by trying to fulfill it outside.
Yep.
And so if you're not comfortable being with yourself, how are you going to be comfortable being with other people? And so once you get to a point where you're like loving yourself in a way and accepting yourself just the way you are, like everything, then you can go and share that space with somebody else, like a little minivan party bus. The party's inside, the people outside are looking in the party, there's something going on, it might be interesting. And if they want to get in the party, they get in the party. If they don't want to get in the party, they don't get in the party. But that won't change the effect of like how the party goes or anything. People really, they're just having fun and they're in their own space, and they can say, well, come on in, come on in the party, or don't, we're going to continue partying,
Yeah.
either with or without. So that's how I see it.
Yeah. It's true. And I think it ties full circle to like the beginning of this call, and that, you know, you do have to enter into the darkness to learn to love yourself, for sure. Um, and get curious about what's coming up for you in any given moment. And in the beginning, the work is very, very, very it's heavy. It feels difficult, but um eventually you get to a place where like you make a conscious choice. Like Yanko wants to sit in the darkness today, and he is making that choice for curiosity's sake rather than suffering's sake. And for me, I experience the darkness and I immediately, what do I need to release, and I let it go. And I choose not to like analyze all of it, because that's my understanding of what I want to do for myself. But I would not have gotten to that place if I didn't experience a lot of darkness. And if I didn't, truthfully, guys, take ownership of my experience, like, and that feels really hard. And I heard a beautiful therapist recently say, I don't want to victim blame, and I don't either, right, guys, as somebody who's experienced some pretty tough things. But when you get to the level of understanding that Yanko and I understand, we fundamentally know, like, we are responsible for what we experience in this life. And you'll learn that as you go through the journey of uncovering your soul, which has been shadowed with dirt and dust from beliefs, habits, behaviors, and just primal states of fear.
Yeah, I want to bring out some shout outs that we're getting from the Philippines. Whoop,
What's
whoop.
up?
And I want to also.
Mahai? Is that how you say it? I hope no, Mahal. Mahal. I got new contacts, guys, and man, do I love that you can see my blue eyes, because they're a window to my soul, and I want people to see that, but sometimes I have a struggle reading.
Yeah, you're breaking up again. And I'm going to bring out the other comment that Gail did. Yeah.
Hey, soul sister, you already know, sister. I feel like
I was gonna bring up.
go ahead.
I was gonna bring up. Go ahead. Before the feeling it's gone. Go ahead. You feel
No, I
like?
feel like I want to end on like a let's send us some juju into the world. That's like, you know what I mean? I don't know, have a dance party or sing to each other or something to get this energy moving, to get your Friday popping if you so choose. That's obviously a choice. I mean,
Of
I obviously am choosing
of of
joy.
of course. Of course. I can't promise that I'll join you singing, but I'll attempt to do a little dance in the
Do a
back.
little dance. Ooh, 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 make a
Do
little
the
love.
little
Ooh,
thing.
ooh, get down tonight. Oh, get down tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh. And that's the thing. To Gail's point, guys, like when going in the darkness, the now matters. You can shift out of that suffering, of that needing to create a story around it anytime you want. And then you like, oh, peace. And when you are in peace, you attract peace. And that's where it gets juicy, yummy, good, 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 good. Because then you meet amazing people like the Yankos and the Gales. And like I met this woman, Unati, yesterday, and just, oh my God, just you have glorious conversations and connections with everybody.
Yeah, things like that happen, and I'm looking forward to something like that on the weekend when I go to the Biden Money Expo.
Listen, you can turn around and talk to your plant right now and have that conversation. I bet your plant wants to give you mad love.
Of course they do. I love them back all the time.
I love my
Some
plants. They make me
sometimes
so
some
happy.
sometimes sometimes I do that with other things like a crystals or like whatever you can connect with. Like animals, I know animals bring me a lot of joy. Like when I'm connecting with animals,
Yeah.
either dogs or cats, they
I
come find me. It's wonderful. But
What
what
were
was
you
I
gonna
gonna
say
say? I
before I,
wanted to.
felt the need to get a party started here?
I was gonna say that in the world of duality, I accept both ends, dark and light, because the same thing, just opposite ends of things.
Mm,
So you know, I have to accept the darkness as much as I accept the light, because as one with everything or the creation, I am also it. So I'm also dark and also light in the same way. So in a way, sometimes I guess that's why I sit with like a darkness or something dense, because I recognize it as part of myself, and it's seeing where that goes. But a lot of the times I might be in the light mode and feeling wonderful, and then shift to the other, just to find the center to where I supposed to, or where I feel like I supposed to be like.
mm. Cool.
And the other thing is that part of that, it's also not judgmental, because to me it's a way of finding who I really am. Yes. And here we got Gail making some more comments. We're going to bring it up. So, yeah, shine the light so I can see the darkness, not dispel it. That's right. And but to see it. That's right. So that's my perspective. I figure I'll bring it up, and this is what makes Yanko Yanko.
And I love Yanko.
I know. So, are we gonna wrap it up with Grandioso song? I'm ready to do the moves. What are you gonna
What
bring us?
song did we wrap it up with? Let's see.
I
Um,
don't I don't know. Whatever you're inspired to do. Like, what comes to mind? First thing
First
that
thing,
comes to mind.
you are my
Yes.
sunshine, a beautiful sunshine. The world makes me happy on days it's gray. I hope you all know how much I love you. And I will see you next week, same time on the same day.
All right, that's wonderful. I want to thank our audience and all the people that decided to dedicate their attention to our show and join us, and vibe with us, comment with us, enjoy the show. Thank you all for sticking around till the end, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm honored and privileged to hold space with you, Yanko, for the people who commented, Gail, just everybody. You're a gift to my heart and soul, and I honor you.
You guys gave